still on the way in, but I think since we're here that we should start, and by starting the energy, those who need to be here will be drawn in perfect right ways. And so I think those of us who are here can go forward now, okay? So, this evening, we really want to allow ourselves to have a deep and penetrating experience in consciousness of understanding what the laws, the spiritual laws, the universal laws of abundance are, and how we can activate them in our lives. And throughout the evening, I will be doing a process that involves centering and meditation so that we can, there is no power, we have no power of consciousness unless we are established and centered in peace within. Then we are in a place where we can be strong, cause to new good in our life, and unified with divine principles. So throughout there will be some inner experiences of transformation through meditating about a certain idea or principle. Also, I'll be giving you some information from some authors some of you are already very familiar with, and in particular tonight, for a portion of the program, I would like to concentrate on the author E.V. Ingraham, who is a great metaphysical author and teacher who has written a very simple book called The 7 Levels of Abundance, the 7 Levels of Supply. And what I like about this book is that he moves literally through the 7 chakras, or planes of consciousness, and in a very orderly manner letting us know what phases of evolution we have to accomplish through our consciousness to rise into the highest level of abundance, which when we're thinking in terms of the masters, we know what a demonstration of us being at the highest level of the prosperity or abundance consciousness would be to think and it is manifest. Think and it is manifest. For as we know, all the masters from the beginning of time, anybody who's risen to the heights of conscious awareness has gained that mastery over their world where they think, and then in right and harmonious ways, their good is demonstrated with ease. So to me, that is the kingdom, and that is, the state of pure wealth, that although it's nice to have our stocks and bonds and whatever happening in our life, the highest state of grace is to be able to manifest what you want when you want it. So Ingraham takes us through these 7 levels to bring us to this optimum level, and it's like in building a building. If the foundation stones aren't there, that building is going to keep sliding, it's going to keep falling apart. And we don't seem to get to that next level that we want to get to, and which we would get to quite naturally if we were fulfilling the demands of spirit as we're moving up. So that will be the first part of our concentration tonight. And then after the break, I will concentrate on various exercises which you can do here in this room, which will cause illumination and reveal to you some things that you can practically do. We believe in practical mysticism. We believe in walking the talk. And we believe what good is an idea unless you can implement. You can implement it right now in your daily life, wherever it is that you need to apply it. And that's called bringing heaven to earth, or applying the high principle right now in our daily affairs. So I have a lot of fabulous exercises that will empower you to be able to continue this work at home. And the second part also, I have an original unexpected income program, which is 12 steps to attaining your perfect consciousness of wealth. Each evening of the 4 evenings, I'll be talking of 3 of the steps each evening and clarifying what they are, and we'll have exercises around them. So know that is tonight here at Fort Lee is really like a precedent-setting event. Although I know you have all read and studied law in principle and have great interest, I think this is one of the first events of this kind. Realize that we're establishing a strong precedent for good for Fort Lee and for the whole surrounding area here. Because don't forget, the Hudson River is right here. And our energy of mind, can flow back and forth, New York to here in New Jersey, and we can, through our knowing, we can lift the level of the whole consciousness that surrounds us, okay? So, let us, just to give you a little bit of an idea of where we are now in time and in evolution. We have come to the place where we have advanced quite far, that we have come to the place in time where we really have learned to use our physical muscles to identify ourselves, to be able to manifest our world, get in charge of our world in the sense of our material well-being. And in all evolution, in order to progress forward, one must progress higher. And in order to keep the attainments that we all have, and as a civilization that we have, we need to progress forward to include greater and greater understanding of that which is. Because if we stay where we are, and we're keeping flexing the same muscles without expanding and without allowing new consciousness to come in, to inspire us, to elevate us, and to bring us forward, we're staying at a stagnant level. So spirit in us, which is really who we are, and as it said, we're spiritual beings having a physical experience. The spirituality of us is the total life force, is all that is. And we're forever interested in gaining greater access to levels of the kingdom and raising our consciousness, expressing more than we have ever been able to express before. And this is natural, it's a naturalness, the joy, the effusiveness, that creativity of God that we all are, that we desire to express. And those of us who are here tonight are like the pioneers in consciousness. We glimpse that possibility is available and we want to attain it. And I know we all feel this within ourselves, that there is a great opportunity for us to rise to levels that we have never experienced before. And so the evolutionary principle of life, which is divine intelligence, which is God, which is that force that runs all of life, is progressing us forward. And if we do not align and agree with the evolutionary principles, well then we know what nature does. There's resistance or there's turbulence in the atmosphere, then nature has an earthquake or whatever it is. The life principle will go forward to demonstrate whatever it wants to do to express itself. And the only way it can do that is through us and by our alignment and our agreement. Therefore, we can be the pioneers by our clarity of consciousness, leading people forth into a new consciousness, a new, higher, more blissful state of peace and mastery in their lives. So, at this point, as I said, we have been used to looking at life and interpreting life and calling life that which our senses perceive. Okay? Everything that's outer. That which I can see, feel, hear, touch. A baby comes into this world, baby looks at their hand and they say, this is me. This is my hand. I am my hand. So there is this process when we come into the world from the spiritual kingdom and come into the world of matter, we begin to identify ourselves with all the matter world. And the truth is that to the degree we are identified with this matter plane, and we think that this is us. In other words, I am my body, I am my thoughts, I am my feelings, I am my acquisitions, I am all the things out there, then we're restricting ourselves because we're only limiting ourselves and interpreting our meaning and who we are according to our physical world. And from there, no matter what stage you're at, there is an element of victimization. Because if I am what's out there, and I put the power of God out there in other people, persons, places, and things, can I change my world? No, I can't. So, metaphysicians, who we understand that we look within to the causal realm of mind, okay? We go beyond the physical, understanding that whatever our physical world is right now is merely a temporary reflection of the state of our consciousness. It is not a power unto itself, all right? Mind rules earth plane. In other words, mind rules my experience. So if I want to change my experience, I must change my mind about things, realizing that my outer world has first an invisible cause in the realm of ideas. What I have been thinking of, what I have been nurturing in my heart, what I have been accepting is scientifically and empirically, by the law of mind, what I will experience in my life. So once understanding, I remember when I first, 30 years ago, came into this teaching, and my teacher stood there and was telling me about the science of mind. And I thought that I just was so awed and thrilled to finally find the way out, to finally discover I am my own way out. Okay? It's not up to anyone out there. It doesn't matter what is going on out there. I can change conditions not by wrestling out there and struggling out there, but by changing myself within. And I am the power to my world. I am the power of transformation to my world. I am the alchemist in my world by what my mind is on. So what we need to learn now and to get so deeply in us to rise to this next level is all things having to do with that causal plane. How can I be caused to good in my life? How can I be caused to shift things, situations, so that they are reflecting the nature of the universe? And another thing about metaphysicians is we climb to the place where it becomes more important to us in our life to demonstrate the principle. We say there are principles. There are principles that this universal system, which is a spiritual system of cause and effect, thought, things, there are actual principles that this universe is grounded in, and all of the universe emanates this life principle in various methods, and we are that. So, of course, if we stop to look, just stop to look for a short time outside whatever our experience has been, whatever our history has been, you know, those things that cage us and limit us in our identification. If we just step outside that, we're willing to step outside that, and to look out at God's world, or that which is, we will see the living principle of abundance manifested everywhere around us. So when you're coming to the level of going with what is, we begin also to say that there is only one power. There is only one cause to all that is. My parents didn't cause me. I am in this earth, but not of it. My origins are of the cosmos, okay? All of us are caused by the infinite mind, and we are the expression of that. We are that. So what is true about, the real truth about our natures, regardless of the impress of the negative thoughts and beliefs and patterns that we've been laboring under, is that each one of us is a manifestation of the divine, with everything in us that the divine is. And so once we make this new recognition, we can then begin to identify with the main power plant and know that the way is within us to shift whatever we desire in our world. And know also the true nature of us. The true nature of us is that which we call God or the life force or great I am or whatever name you have for it. This all-inclusive force. We are that. All right? If I think, now this is talking about detaching from the magnetism of the physical identification. If I think that I am my mind, my thoughts that I think, if I think that I am my body, then I am restricted to everything that's going on with that. But if I know that I am consciousness who has a body, okay, I am in charge of my body, I am in charge of my thoughts, I am the thinker, the spirit, that which is not seen. The thinker thinking the thought. I am one with the Creator creating. If then I don't like, as Emerson says, you don't like what's going on in your world, change your thinking. You know, don't try to change your world. So this is the higher understanding that I am spirit, and by my word, I am law unto my life. All right, so we are now, the second advancement is to interpret life from the spiritual plane of understanding of who and what we are as eternal beings. We are now moving to understand the deep inner causes of the universe that manifest our life. And this series is focusing on prosperity, which is a divine principle that all of life manifests. And if our minds were not congested with ideas of negation and all of the guilt and fears, we would naturally be outpicturing the abundance, the prosperity that we are. Now we're building from in. You know, tonight we're going to talk about like a stone, you know, stones in the pillars, the foundation stones of the abundant consciousness. And we will build from it within rather than wrestling without. And in our we use meditation because, as I said before, we have no power unless we are centered in peace. And when we want to draw in divine inspiration or infinite mind, when we want to access the realm of bright ideas, inspiration, illumination, what do? Like the great yogis from the beginning of time. We breathe in that breath of God, and we dwell on, we center, and we dwell on those qualities, those substances like peace, joy, harmony that we want to develop in our life. Why breath? Breath is your life. Breath is your life. Okay? So breath, you know, we think we're breathing the air, and really that is not what we're living on. We're living on the prana. We're living on the stuff in between, which is God, divine mind, intelligence, all the things that nurture our being. That is why we speak of breathing in the essence of abundance, breathing in the spirit of prosperity. So we are becoming now, and let us know, that because we want to, that we are becoming the mystic masters of God, and tonight we are ascending to the highest level of consciousness, and we are willing to leave behind all ideas and beliefs and behaviors that have not served us till now. Can we do that? Yes, we can do that. Because I am spirit and I am not bound. And I am free. I am not stuck in my past. I am free to release, just like a bad meal, whenever I want to let go. I can let go because I am free. Okay? So, we're going to leave behind everything that has not served us. And, to come to the master or to the highest consciousness, we must be willing to let go something. We must be willing to give up something to release something, to receive the new good. That is a law. New good cannot flow into our mental household if it's all cluttered up and if we're attached to our beliefs. So like the great Emerson said, we must be willing to release it. If it hasn't served me, what have I got to lose? You know, let me try a new pattern. Okay? So through contemplating, now this is something that's very important to realize. It is very hard to perform elimination or leave behind old beliefs. If you have nothing, and it says this in the Bible also, it says, you know, once you've established the vacuum, you don't leave it a vacuum. So if I empty my mind of beliefs, if I don't supply a greater prototype in consciousness, greater ideas, more divine ideas in consciousness, then I can be drawn back into the magnetism of what has come. I don't have the strength of the divine patterns that I am now aligning myself with. We want to align with the truth, right? With the highest patterns that are. That's what we want to live and what we want to be a living example of. So how do we get these new ideas? There is a process of contemplation where you can ask yourself, and I ask myself these questions very often, when I feel stuck in whatever I'm doing, then I know that I've gotten off track. And I need to take a breath, I need to come in peace, and then say, what is the divine, the highest idea of good for me here? According to the utmost loving Father, Mother, God, Creator, what is the highest ideal for me here? Okay? We have goals in life, and our goals propel us and bring out the talents in us. But to bring out your spiritual talents, you've got to raise up and not say, what's my ideal for good? You've got to go higher than that. You've got to say, what is the divine idea for perfection for me here, according to what I know about the nature of the Creator, which we know is all love, all life force, everything. There can be nothing in the infinite mind that thinks in terms of negation, lack, limitation for you. If this was true, and notice about the universe, if this was true about the universe, it would have fallen apart because it would exist opposing itself. And so far as we have noticed, this universe goes on, it regenerates itself, it does whatever is necessary. It is the totality, imagine that, the totality of the complete life force expressing opulently in all its ways. So when we inquire, when we perform that necessary humility, not to persons, places, and things, but to the higher idea, and we say, God, or whatever you want to say, I know what's going on for me, that's what's going on, but what is the divine pattern for me here? What would bring out the highest perfection, harmony, bring me the greatest joy, the highest concepts you can think of? Then you have got a goal that you can really align with. And like, you know, the ship gets lost at sea, and every day we get lost at sea. You know, we have the opportunity, because of all the influence in life, you have something. You can center and go right back to that ideal and get yourself right on course again, okay? And know that it is your mission, you know, to your purpose in life is not to, you know, work 9 to 5 all your life. Your purpose in life is to express the divinity that you are, is to bring out greater and greater levels of that which you are, through your self-expression, through creativity, through your relationships, through your world, okay? So, through contemplating the divine ideal and God's perfect pattern for us. There's a statement of Divine Mother Father, Paramahansa Yogananda, a great yogi, a great poet, says, Divine Mother Father holds the pattern of perfection for you unto eternity. So there is some part of us, we call it our higher self, which is really that part of us which is commune with Divine Mind. There is some part of us that always feels the compelling force of that pattern. If we're sick, we want to get better. If money is down, we want it to go up. Something about us knows that this is not the divine pattern. It is not the pattern for us to acquiesce to whatever the temporary problem may be. There is something about us that is greater. So I like to say, when I look at something, meditate, contemplate, look at something I'm going through, I say, it is not true for God, it's not true for me. Okay? I may think it is, it may feel like it is, it may feel just really pretty terrible. But that's just a feeling, and it's not necessarily a truth. So we have to align, and we have to, insist on that. We have to stay with that strength of mind to perform the ascension in mind, if you will, and therefore in our experiences. If I rise in consciousness, all rise to meet me. And we know that the story of any great who was going after whatever, whether it was Ford or whoever it was their determination to stay with their vision of good and not to buy into anything else, not the storms, not the challenges. Something in them knew, I am an idea whose time has come. So we need the spiritual stamina and the spiritual fortitude. And the only way to the kingdom is through practicing these types of steps, okay? So we want to replace the old ideas, just to capitalize this, with the perfect pattern of livingness, ideas of livingness, joy, fulfillment, with no compromise. God does not need to compromise, right? So we do not either. We are perfectly capable of manifesting divine perfection in life, absolutely. And that's what we're here to do. Now we are here to do it. So we are the heirs to the kingdom already. What a great thing. Say someone says to you, well, what's your status? Where do you come from? How's your family money? So our answer, once we know the truth that we are already heirs to the kingdom. Why? Because we are not physical beings only. We are spiritual beings. And we have the riches of the kingdom because we have mind. We have creative mind. Therefore, mind flows free. Free of conditions. Free of what's going on now. And my mind can flow free, regardless of what prison I'm in at the time, or what issue I'm in at the time. My mind flowing constructively and freely before me is the actual creator of what I shall experience. All right? So I do not have to have anything in my hand. I don't have to have a track record. All I have to do is have the idea and have the energy. And because of the law of mind, and because my thought produces results, then the ways and the means show up because I have an idea and I have acceptance. So this, creativity is, we should get into this to realize I'm a creative being. I am always creating by my thoughts. That is the law that I live in. So there is nothing that I need. I have all. I have the riches of the kingdom. I have my good thought that goes out as a constructive cause and in perfect right way creates for me. All right? This is a law. And we have to know this and know this and know this again. There is no power out there. There is no power out there. There is no power out there. I am not dependent on any person, place, or thing. I am dependent alone on consciousness. My consciousness, John Randolph Price, a great author, says, My consciousness of supplies becomes my supplies. Now, I could be going to a party, right? I can know these people, this party that I'm going to, and I can say, before I have gotten there, I am there. If I've had good experience with these people, I'm already at the party before I get there. When I'm dressing, I'm thinking about what a good time I'm going to have, and so on and so on. I have projected my mind, my spirit before me. And then I arrive physically at the party, and the party is great. But what went before me? Mine went before me. My expectations went before me. And this is how the law operates. So we metaphysicians know, or Stuart Wilde says, very well, I will see it. I will see it when I believe it. Not like I'll believe it when I see it, because if you're doing that, you're not in a position to be able to create anything. You're just witnessing. But we say, we know, we shall experience it when we believe it. Just like going to a good party. And if you know enough about the law, which we'll be talking about tonight, and the essence of God, to know the greatness, to know the love that showers, holds you, has breathed you forth, then how can we think that it won't follow up with all the good possible? If our own parents, or we who are, have limitations, and we don't have limitations, but maybe stuck in it, can feel love, can feel good, can desire for our own the very best. Imagine what the Father Most High, the highest consciousness, wants for all the divine offspring. Okay? So we must realize a greater concept, I believe, that it's not only enough to be love in our life, which is one of the spiritual rules, to heighten a sense of being love and practicing love in your life, but we also must know that we live, we breathe the essence of life and love all the time. That I am love. Not only am I love, but I am love. And I live in a universe of love. And by your words, this is so. So you say, well, people aren't too loving out there. But then you don't know then that consciousness is all, and your word is law. And if I say I live in a universe where I am love, and I love all and all love me, that will be your experience, okay? Because you can live at any level, any dimension that you want to live in this great universe. You can live up in the penthouse, or you can live in the basement. It's your choice. It's your choice. As free spirit is your choice where you want to live. So we know that if we live in the highest concept possible, we will always be in the penthouse of experience. The highest concept, closest to God, closest to the nature of the Creator. We will always live in the utmost experience, regardless of what our situation has been in the past, because we are free. All right? Now, so instead of, let us be those who set a precedent pattern. Instead of complaining about the world and, wishing it were better and so on, and saying, oh, the world is so powerful. Don't you know the world lives by the grace of God? Let's talk true power here, true cause here, okay? So instead of saying the world is so powerful, let us step out of the collective mind, stop being a statistic, and be an individualization of the mind of God, and show the pattern of freedom, and demonstrate the pattern of freedom like the Christ. The best teachers are the living examples. So we start to implement these higher laws, as people say, and I've seen it over and over and over and over again, ever since I came into this teaching. People are getting emancipated. But they get emancipated because what are they recovering? Themselves. That which they already are is becoming only them. And then we show others the free path, the right path, which is the path of peace and power and fulfillment. So we don't want to be a statistic, but we want to exercise our choice to ascend out of that, become a statement called a collective mind or race mind. And that means the human race mind. And it is like a force, sometimes we feel it like a force because it has within it, in the mind field are all the negative patterns, all the beliefs, for instance, like it's hard, all the generalizations, that when you're a child and you come in with your mind, you're immediately hit with this, all the ideas. And so our job is to put that aside consciously, to choose not to buy into that anymore because we know what it has done to us to do that. So we choose not, we don't fight with people on the outer, we just choose not to accept anymore the principles we were believed that we were living on before. And we substitute them by choice with the beliefs that we know will empower our life. So, we know by the law of mind, I cannot, let's say I'm seeking to get wealth. I cannot be walking around complaining and noticing poverty all the time and expect wealth to come to me. I have to be the consciousness of wealth, recognizing the presence of wealth for it to come to me. Because whatever my mind is on, I will attract by the law of attraction. Every molecule in this universe lives on that. Okay? From hydrogen, oxygen throughout. Right? What my mind is on, I attract. So I want to keep my place, and it's good to inquire of yourself. If you're feeling any struggling somewhere, ask yourself, would I go and hire these thoughts that I think to go do the job for me? No. And if your answer is not yes, absolutely, dump those thoughts. All right? You are spirit. You can choose to think a better thing and to get a better result. And ask yourself, if I want the good that I want, what kind of thoughts need I be thinking to set up my magnetic field aright? All right? This is so important. I don't care where you go, what century, what master you will talk with. They will all tell you this same fact. Your universe, you must get in charge of your consciousness so that, as Holmes says, only that which you would want to see demonstrated in your life is coming from your thought, your mind. And we are so free that if by chance we see, oh gee, there I'm caught up in that pattern again, I don't want to be perpetuating that. We happen to notice that we're in it again, in the stuff. We can just stop, take a breath, like I said, establish peace, and put in the conscious, new, good thoughts that we would like to see manifest in our life. All right? I cannot go around saying, oh, I'm so unworthy. I mean nothing. I'm nothing to this universe. And expect to get a great job, for instance. Right? I cannot do that. And it's not because of a power out there that is opposing me or holding me down or restricting me. It's because of the law that I am in charge of my experience. So we must put forth the elevation of thought, keeping holy company, in mental household, only putting through there what you'd like to see manifest, and only putting out as mental cause in our life what we want to see come back to us. And remember, I am not dependent. So it does not matter. No longer is the power of my life in hands out there. And so I say the power is within me. It's within me because the creative power and processes work in me. Right? All right, so this is how we step out of these statistics by finally saying no to that which we have put up with or endured before. And finally we say no, 1,000 times no. I do not buy into that anymore. I believe all good, all abundance, all prosperity is mine. I believe in this. you know, you can choose what you want to believe in, knowing the law, that will act for you, all right? So we must realize that we have, you've heard the statement, before Abraham was, I am. This is the truth about it. Before my name was Maya, Peter, I was. I am spirit. I am consciousness. I am eternal spirit. Before, well, I have to say, before Abraham was, I am. That means you are one with God, as it was in the beginning. Now, just because we fall in a pothole, you know, doesn't mean we're the pothole. Just because we fall in a state of delusion about ourselves doesn't mean we are that. Does it? Okay? So the truth about me, again, this will help you detach from the idea that you're your history, you're your circumstances, you're what went on before. You say, remember, before Abraham was, I am. And that means to us, translates to us, before this condition came over me, I am one with God. Therefore, at any time, I can choose to step out of a pothole, and it's no more than a pothole. If we fell into hell of, you know, negative thinking everywhere, all that cloud, and we fell in, could now we climb out through the right ladder, maybe Jacob's ladder of consciousness, climb out through right knowing. And the great thing is, if we are climbing out, now is our opportunity to climb out consciously so that we never have to fall into those old potholes, those hell states or purgatory states again.